Welcome to the Health Coach Nation podcast. My name is Hailey Rowe, and I'm a sales and marketing coach and LinkedIn lead generation service provider. I work with health, life, and mindset coaches and online service-based business owners to help them get more sales, shift their time to the client-generating activities instead of just the busy work, and overcome that social media overwhelm. Let's get into the show. If you're ready to take on your next paying clients, I have good news. My free 4 Basics of Client Attraction and How to Stand Out class is live at haileyrowe.com/client-attraction. In the class, you're going to learn the top 2 traits I recommend for most coaches and entrepreneurs if they really want to turn this into a career. You're going to learn how you can build demand for your services and stop getting crickets on your posts. You're going to learn the sales roadmap I used to improve my sales conversion rate and help my clients do the same. And you're going to learn so much more. So go to haileyrowe.com/client-attraction and get your copy of the class today.
Hey, so today I wanted to talk with you about whether or not visibility and the fear of having that visibility in your business is keeping you from sales and getting clients. And the reason I want to share about this topic is because I've seen a lot of times where clients have wanted to grow their business, wanted to make more sales, but they also have this underlying fear of like, that's a lot of responsibility. I'm going to be seen if I do that. I'm going to become a leader if I have my own business and it's successful. And there's this fear that's pulling away from them moving full force ahead with visibility opportunities, with posting videos of themselves, with putting themselves out there, because they're afraid that, you know, they're going to be seen and people are going to judge them or they're going to be rejected and all that kind of stuff. So if that is you, I'm going to share some tips to be okay with being more visible and start putting yourself out there more. So the first thing is, if you are afraid of being more visible and putting yourself out there, I want you to ask yourself, are you using, I don't know where to start, or I'm just so overwhelmed, I don't know what steps to take, as your kind of scapegoat? Okay, so what I mean by this is a lot of times you may have a to-do list or you may have ideas in your business, but they may be vague and they may, you may not know the right order. But the truth is you do know what to do and you do know where to start. And you could ask yourself, what's the next logical step? What could I try it and see and learn from that and get better at knowing where to start? But you don't, because at the end of the day, in the back of your head, you're afraid of, well, if I start something and it's the wrong thing, or it doesn't go well, or I get rejected, or it forces me to be visible, well, then I don't want to do it. So I'm just going to say, I don't know what, I'm going to throw my hands up and I'm just going to say, I don't know where to start because then I can stay safe and I don't have to be visible. And if that is you, the first tip I have for you is get better at making decisions in your business every day about where to start and what to do. And the way that you do that is by getting a time management system in place for yourself. And I personally use my weekly planning system. It's at haileyrowe.com/time planning, all one word. And you can use it to help you prioritize your list, break down your list, because that's the other thing. You may say, I don't know where to start and I don't know how to be visible, because you think you have to start with like huge things or vague projects and you haven't actually broken it down to like 15-minute tasks or like plan what I'm actually going to say in that video or whatever it is. So use that first so that you can no longer use the excuse, I don't know where to start or what to do. And instead you can address the real problem, which is I'm scared of being visible. I'm scared of doing this task. That's what I'm scared of. I know the task, but I'm scared of doing it. And then we're going to talk more about that next. Okay. Now, someone asked, what if you have a crazy ex or a jealous, toxic family member? Any tips? Okay. Yes. Number one, I think what I would do personally is there are ways to make your content visible by only certain people. So on Facebook, for example, if you wanted to, you can make your video public, or you can make a list of people who can see. You could say public except for, and you can actually make a list of people you don't want seeing your content if you're really worried about that. You can't do that on Instagram, I don't think, unless you block them. But my point is, if you need to set boundaries, like I need to block these people, or I'm going to set my settings so they can't see the certain work videos I'm doing because they just spread negativity. Reconnect. Okay, I'm reconnected. So that would be my tip there. I hope it was visible because my internet went out for a sec. But the other thing you could do is focus more on your people. You are going to have people out there who don't like you, who are seeing your stuff, and so what? The question is, so what? What's the real issue there? If it's nothing having to do with your safety, then I would say focus much more on the people who do need to hear your message, the 10% of people who do love working with you or love your content, and focus and channel all your energy towards them instead of these crazy people who are seeing your content. Okay, the next thing is, and the last thing I'll say about that too, is make your mission so big and your why for it so big that even if there are obstacles like that, you still do it because your mission is bigger than your fears. Okay, next tip for visibility is if you are putting too many rules on visibility and expectations on it, you got to stop doing that to get started. So what I mean by that is last week I made a video on LinkedIn and it was after a long day and it was dark out, and I made the video in my office and I had one lamp on. It was kind of dark and I didn't turn the overhead light on because it was just not looking good. And so the video was kind of dark, and not the content of the video. The video was positive, but the room was dark. And I posted it anyways, and I got a lot of positive feedback on it, that it was really helpful and yada yada. And my boyfriend saw a clip of it and said, you know, you look kind of like you're vlogging in your room like a teenager or something, and it's after bedtime and you're in the dark, and like you should put more lights on. And I was like, yeah, I know I should, but I had to make it when the spirit was moving me, and I knew I wasn't going to do it the next day, and I knew, you know, I didn't want to move locations and mess with all that because it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I just did it. And I'm glad I did, because a lot of people got use out of it, and I'll probably repurpose it as a podcast and it won't have the video in it, so it'll be fine, right? And my point is, if I had let fear of being in the dark stop me because I had so many rules, like I have to have the perfect lighting and I have to do it at the perfect time of day and I have to do it when most people are online, I wouldn't have done the video. And I think all of us stop ourselves from visibility because we have so many rules. Let go of the rules and just start. It's of course always going to be, there's always going to be ways you can optimize your content more, optimize your visibility more, give a better call to action, whatever. But you don't get to that point of refinement if you never start, and if you never put yourself out there and maybe even have it go poorly so you can keep learning in the process. So second tip is, how can you let go? What are the rules you have for visibility? Write them down and then ask yourself, what rules can I drop? What rules can I kind of massage the standards a little bit and allow myself to go out there imperfectly and still get started? Poke holes in your rules. And then so first tip was get a better time management system so you can no longer use time or overwhelm or I don't know where to start as an excuse. Number 2 is let go of the rules. And now we're going to talk about number 3, which is giving yourself visibility challenges. So here's the deal. If you are new to getting visible online and putting yourself out there, you are going to want to give yourself little mini sprints where you're putting yourself out there. So what I mean is, I did when I started doing lives, I would give myself permission to do the live. With full permission, I could delete it afterwards if I don't like it. Or some of my clients start by filming a video on their phone first and not doing lives, and then resharing the video instead to the social media platform of their choice, where they were able to practice and not be live and not have distractions of people popping up on their screen and all that kind of stuff. So you got to find, like, what's a challenge for you, or sending a referral pitch when you know you could be rejected. Like, come up with what that next little sprint is for you and do it and set a deadline around it. And here's why many people don't do this. Here's why many of you watching will walk away from this video and not do it. It's because you are fearful of beating yourself up if it doesn't go well. And my suggestion to you is learn how to be kind to yourself no matter the outcome that happens, because then you're limitless. Then you are going to go out there and be able to do referral pitches and be able to go on video and be able to go on podcasts, because you know you have your own back. Even if it doesn't go well, even if you mess up, even if it's imperfect, you're not going to beat yourself up, because you know you are going for it. You're trying, you're learning, and you're growing. And if you are afraid of setting big goals, you're probably not afraid of the big goal itself as much as you are afraid of the mental beatdown you're going to do if you don't hit it. So if that's you, and if you find yourself doing that a lot, you have to ask yourself, how am I going to have my own back in this visibility challenge, whether I hit it or not? And how am I going to do this with fear riding with me in the passenger seat, instead of telling myself I need to wait until the fear is gone for me to do it, right? So just to recap, let go of your rules and let it be imperfect. Number 2, set up systems for your time management so you can no longer use "I don't know where to start" as an excuse. Number 3, set visibility challenges for yourself in little sprints, and then decide how you're going to treat yourself in the sprints, whether or not they go well, whether or not they get the results you want. And keep deciding and realize that even if they don't go well, it's still going a heck of a lot better than you doing nothing. Even if you don't get as many comments or views or whatever as you like, you're building your repertoire of content. You're building your social media presence. You're building your confidence of being on video. You are getting stuff out of it, whether you realize it or not, personal skills that are going to get you to your goal in due time by doing it. So thanks for watching. And this is just a side note, this is something that I coach clients on every single week in the inner circle, is like things like this, where it's, overwhelm taking over, or I don't know what to say in my referral pitch, or a lot of times clients won't know the right steps in the right order. Like they'll think, I got to update my website, when really that they're avoiding the true steps they need to be taking, right? And they're using their websites or designing a logo or fancy graphics or something as a little scapegoat to not do the real things they need to be doing. So in the coaching program, we're not only coaching you on your marketing strategy, because that in and of itself is very doable, and marketing is something that, is data, it's predictable. That the number of offers you make minus the no's equal your results. But then where it gets tricky is all the little thoughts you have about every step of the way in the marketing process that we have to work on to be able to get better results from your marketing, to have better energy behind the marketing you're doing, things like that. So we are coaching every week on your strategy, but then all the little stuff that comes up along the way that's stopping you from doing it, that is also what we coach on. So if you're curious about the inner circle for the new year, and you want to learn about my December bonuses, they're not the same as the November bonuses, but you will get a little extra time in the program when you join in December. Go ahead and go to HaileyRowe.com, and you can book a free consult with me to learn more about the inner circle. Thanks so much.
So much for listening to this podcast, and if it's really helpful for you, I'd really appreciate if you share it and or leave a written podcast review. This tells the podcast sites that our show is useful, and it will be promoted to more people that way. Thanks again.